Number 21. Athletes emphasize positive values. The participants have worked hard to create a sense of teamwork, respect, responsibility, and perspective. We remind you that good behavior is expected from all and that misconduct will not be tolerated. Let this competition reflect mutual respect among all participants, officials, and fans. Good luck, have a great event, and enjoy the greatest sporting event around, a high school championship event. Thank you.
Mason got the tips on it. He said Mason got it.
All righty, back here on the hilltop. Let's take a look now at the starting quintets for both the Royals and the Thoroughbreds. Starting out with Mason County, as we said, 11-3 on the year, coached by Brian Kirk. At a guard, a 5'11 junior, number 1, Nate Mitchell. Mitchell averaging a solid 16.2 points per game. At another guard is Anwar Perry. Perry wears the number 5. He's a 5'9 senior and is averaging 11.4 points a game. At a guard, a 5'11 junior, Mason Butler. Butler wears the number 10 and is averaging 6.5 points a contest. And one of the forwards, the leading scorer this year for Mason, Terrell Henry. Henry's a 6'2 sophomore who wears the number 2 and is averaging 21.2 points per game. And at the other forward, a 6'1 sophomore, number 35, Philip Beerley. Beerley averaging 9.4. So once again, for the Royals, it'll be Mitchell, Perry, Butler, Henry, and Beerley. As we mentioned before, Mason County averaging a solid 73 points per game on offense. On defense, giving up 63.5 points per contest. Now for the Harrison County Thoroughbreds, 9-7 on the year, and playing very well right now as they're on the wings of a 3-game winning streak. At a guard, a 6-foot freshman, number 1, Caden Custer. Caden now averaging 10.6 points a game. At another guard, J.D. Sword. Sword wears the number 11. He's a 6'1 senior and is averaging a team-high 15.4 points a contest. At the third guard, taking Clay Carpenter's place, is Tayshawn Custard. Custard, a 5'10 senior who wears the number 12. He's averaging 4.3 points per game. You'll have to remember, I think all of Mason County is scared of Tayshawn. Back in the fall when we played him in football, Tayshawn rambled for a school record 352 rushing yards in our win over Mason County last fall. At a forward, J.D. Kendall. Kendall, a 6'5 sophomore who wears the number 21 and is averaging 9.1 points a game. And in the middle, a 6'6" junior, number 15, Blaine Biddle. Biddle averaging 3.2. So once again for the Breds, it'll be Caden Custard, Sword, Tayshawn Custard, Kendall, and Biddle. Harrison County making 65.5 points per game on offense. On defense, giving up 55.8 points per game. Now, when you put all the numbers together and shake them around and pour out the result, Mason County about a 2-point favorite in tonight's game, so it could literally go either way. Well, while Harrison County continues warming up and Mason County is still yet to come back from the locker room, we'll take this opportunity to take it back to the station to Bruce Templeton from Unity Christian Church with tonight's pregame prayer. Alrighty, back here on the hilltop, Harrison County and Mason County about to meet for the 87th time in the school's program's histories. Harrison County trails in the series as Mason County leads it 56-30, including Mason winning 21 and losing 11 here on the hilltop. It's a series that began back when the county schools up in Mason consolidated in the 1961-62 school year. In that February of 1962, the Royals came down to Santana and went back to Maysville happy as they knocked off the Thoroughbreds 84-78. Last year, the two teams got together at the field house with Mason County winning 84-63. The last time the two teams got together here on the hilltop was 2 years ago, a game won by the Thoroughbreds 75-70. So there's your short history of the rivalry between Harrison County and Mason County, which lately has been dominated by the Royals. As we mentioned before, the Thoroughbreds, with just a couple of more games after tonight, on Thursday we'll head to Alexandria to take on the Mustangs of Bishop Brossart, and then finish up the regular season on Saturday here on the Hilltop when we take on Bryan Station. Now that's a 5 o'clock start for the varsity game, so make sure you come a little bit earlier than maybe you normally would have. Well, right now the Harrison County Air Force Junior ROTC is presenting the colors, so what we're going to do is take a listen to the national anthem, after which we'll take a break and then come back for the first possession of tonight's game between Harrison County and Mason County. But right now, let's bring you our Star Spangled Banner.
Is Cadet Airman First Class Caitlin Lewis, and the guards are Cadet Airman First Class Abigail Palmer and Cadet Airman Basic Oscar McDuffie. We ask that you remain standing until the colors have exited playing floor. The national anthem tonight will be played by Harrison County High School Pit Band under the direction of Mr. Sean Hyatt.
Feed your farm with Southern States Co-op in Cynthiana. Whether you need feed for dogs, chickens, pigs, rabbits, horses, or cattle, your local Southern States team can help you find the best nutrition program for all of the animals on the farm and around the house. Stop by Southern States on US 27 south of Cynthiana or call 234-2161. That's 234-2161. Curbside service is available.
Mason County won the toss and is elected to receive to start out this game. I wonder if we haven't had a situation yet, as far as I know, where a team won the toss and elected to go on defense first. I guess that's just not done.
You know, I think if the girls at St. Patrick on Thursday, if we win the toss, we ought to let them have the ball.
Yeah, just to be different.
Yeah.
Yeah. All righty. Inbounding the ball across the way from us will be Anwar Perry, the 9-7 Thoroughbreds against the 11-3 Royals. Should be a mighty good game and possibly a preview of things to come if both of them make the 10th region tournament. Perry with the basketball now between the circles, gives the ball to Butler. Butler races to the block. Now a baseline pass goes through Henry out of bounds. So just like that, a turnover. That's a good way to start.
Yeah, for them.
Gives the ball back to the Thoroughbreds. Kendall will inbounds the ball against full court man pressure by the Royals. He'll get it to Tayshawn. As we mentioned before, Tayshawn starting tonight in place of Clay Carpenter, who's nursing a sore ankle that he suffered against Nicholas County last Saturday. Kendall in between the circles to Custer, knocked away. Loose ball is going to be picked up by Perry, goes to the basket. His shot's no good, but he's fouled, and will go to the line for two. Got to be very careful against these Royals. They're a very good defensive team. Perry on the season from the free throw line, a 62% shooter. Trying to get his team on the board first. 25 seconds into the first quarter. In front of a good crowd here on the Hilltop.
Yeah, I think we got our capacity.
Yeah. First free throw by Perry is good.
We
He
count
puts
the
his team
band
up.
and everything, you know.
Yeah.
And cheerleaders, we probably have as many as we're allowed.
Second free throw upcoming for Perry to try to make it a 2-0 lead for his team, and it's good, and he does. So 2-0 in favor of the Royals. Full court pressure. Kendall gets the ball into Tayshawn. Tayshawn Custer will bring the ball up the floor against the defensive Mitchell. Across the timeline in the middle of the floor, now stops inside the center circle. Very loud and active bench for Mason County. Kendall with the basketball on the right wing, up top to Biddle. Blaine looking for someone to pass to, finds Tayshawn, who goes to the left elbow in the paint. A leaner from 10 is good. Nice shot that time by Tayshawn to tie the score at 2-2. The follow-away jumper. And now we're going to have a foul called on Harrison County again. This time it's going to be on Tayshawn. It'll be his first.
I like it when the referee blows his whistles out there going on the floor and somebody else changes it underneath.
Yeah, yeah, we saw some of that last night up at Dayton.
This guy was a JV official. I don't know why he's out here.
First free throw by Mitchell is good to put his team back up 3-2 on the year. Mitchell is a 70% free throw shooter. So 3-2 now your score. With 7:06 left, as we said. Second free throw is also good. So 4 free throws early by the Royals. They put them up 4-2.
The way they look shooting them, we don't want to put them up there very
That's
much.
right. As a team, they're a 68% free throw shooting team.
They look better. At least those two guys look better.
Yeah. Tayshawn with the basketball on the right elbow. Nearly dropped the ball. Double team. Dumps it in the paint to Kendall, who does indeed drop the ball out of bounds. So Harrison's going to have to pick it up a notch as we're a little half step behind the Royals right now.
We need to control the tempo of this game. If we
Yes.
let them run up down the floor, we're in trouble.
Mitchell with the basketball across the timeline in the middle of the floor. Lobs it to the right elbow. We're going to have a foul away from the basketball. An illegal screen set by Perry. That'll be Anwar Perry's first personal foul. You need someone to protect your home, auto, and more, like protecting the rim. That's when you call Dan Furnish. Call Dan with any questions about insurance coverage at 234-4514. That's 234-4514. Dan Furnish. Kendall inbounds the ball to Sword. Sword being hounded by Butler. Gets the ball to Tayshawn. Tayshawn against the defense of Mitchell. Right now approaching the midcourt stripe and passing it into the front court inside the center circle. Dribbles to the right wing, long range in front of the Mason bench where he'll hand the ball to Sword. Sword at the right elbow, spins, a follow-away jumper off the glass and good. Nice job that time by JD. Ties the score at 4-4. Now here's a layup put up and in. Down low by Philip Beerley. Beerley puts his team back out in front by 2. 6:03 on the clock now. With the basketball going to the basket, Biddle. Blaine Biddle ties the score at 3-3, or 6-6. Already had 3 ties in the game. With the basketball in the front court on the right side, long range is Perry. He'll get the ball to Henry. Henry to the near side to Butler. Butler to Beerley to the basket. Makes the shot. Andy is fouled. And we'll have a chance for the old-fashioned three-point play. Nice drive by Beerley as he puts his team back out on top, 8-6. And I'm with you, Mike. Right now, the tempo not quite what we would like it to be.
No, and Blaine can't let that guy drive around him. He's going to have to make a basket every time down the floor if he's going to stay even.
Beerley's free throw is good, 75% free throw shooter, so there's no big mystery about that. He already has 5 points, came in averaging 9. Against the full court pressure, down by 3. Tayshawn will bring the ball into the front court. Goes to the top of the key, drops the ball, picks it back up again, gets it into the corner to Custard, whose three-point try is an air ball. Rebound on the offside, picked up by Perry. He'll go all the way to the basket. Actually, that's Henry, who makes the shot there. So Henry puts his team up 11-6 off of the turnover by Harrison. 5:10 left to go in the first quarter. In the paint, a shot put up by Sword is good. So JD with his 4th point gets Harrison back to within 3 at 11-8. So we cross in under 5 minutes left to go in the first quarter of a very quickly tempoed game. On the right side, Henry has the basketball. He'll move to the right elbow in the paint, drops the ball, loose ball on the floor, picked up by Custard. That's Caden. Caden in the front court goes baseline, and before he can shove off a pass, he's going to be fouled. And it's going to be called on Perry, and if it is, that'll be his second, and it is. And it is.
Coach Brooks got that call. He worked that official on something a while ago, and Caden hit the floor awful hard a while ago. And
Did he?
Yeah, he did.
First sub of the game coming in for Mason, Isaac Marshall. Marshall, a 5'10 sophomore, averaging 2.3. Sword from his own baseline, lobs it up top to Tayshawn. Tayshawn at the foul line, goes to the block. His shot off the glass is rolling off. Rebound pulled down by Henry. Henry in the front court goes baseline, cut off by Sword. Lobs it onto the wing to Butler. Butler back in the corner to Henry for the open three. No good off the front of the rim. And on the rebound, we're going to have over the back by Beerley as he came over the back of Caden Custer. That'll be Beerley's first. Coming in the game for Harrison, Garrett Wilson. Wilson, a 6'3 senior, averaging 2.9 points a game. He'll come in for Kendall. In fact, Wilson will try to get the ball in bounds. He'll get it to Tayshawn, who looks around and sees Nate Mitchell right in his face. 11-8 at the 4:17 mark of the first quarter. Mason County leading Harrison right now. Cross timeline comes Tayshawn, moves to the left wing where he'll hand the ball to Caden Custer. Caden in between the circles now will reset the offense. Moves to the right side where he'll dish it off to Sword, who will fire a three try off the flange, no good. Rebound is gathered in by Caden Custer. He'll get it back to Tayshawn. Tayshawn drives to the basket. His layup is good. Well, I tell you what, the last couple of games, Tayshawn Custer has done a wonderful job out there on the floor, getting 4 points here in the first quarter. 11-10, Harrison down by 1. Mason with the basketball. On the left side, Butler gets to near the top of the key to Henry. Henry guarded by Wilson now. Backs it out and gets it to Mitchell, who will stand inside the center circle and play yo-yo for a while. Now he'll make his move. Right elbow, almost lost it. Gets it to Henry at the top of the key. Henry drives in the paint. His leaner from 10 is good. 4 points for Terrell Henry. Puts his team back out up top by 3. 13-10. 3:09 left to go in the first quarter. Into the front court comes Sword, and he's going to be pushed a little too hard by Butler. That'll be Mason Butler's first personal. Into the game for the first time for Harrison, Will Furnish. Furnish, a 6'11 sophomore, averaging 4.8 points per game. Inbounding the ball from the near hash, Markleby Wilson. He'll get it into the backcourt to Tayshawn. Tayshawn looks around to see what Coach Brooks wants to run. He'll come into the front court now, between the circles, moves to the left elbow. In the paint, a leaner from 10 is no good this time, and Beerley is there for the board. Beerley in the front court with the basketball on the right side, gets the ball to Henry. Henry's picked up his dribble, now gets it to Butler in between the circles. Butler, in turn, will hand the ball to Mitchell. Mitchell goes to the elbow extended and then bounces the ball off of Sword's leg out of bounds. Mason will retain possession. Just like the Breads and Phillies delivering three-pointers, Kellyan's Pizza can deliver to you tonight. Call 298-2048 to place your order. Also available for pickup in the Bridge Street Plaza. Kendall back in for the Breads, also coming in for the first time. Braylon Hinton, hitting a 6'2 freshman, averaging 2.9 points a game. Inbounds pass comes to Beerley on the right wing. He'll hand it off to Mitchell. Mitchell backs up. Now goes inside the center circle to set the offense. Drifts to the left side where he'll get it long range to Marshall. Marshall between the circles to Henry. Henry backs up as he's guarded by Kendall now near the center circle. Makes his move to the left side, pushes off, no call. Puts up a shot, it's in and out, no good. Long rebound comes all the way out to Marshall. Marshall dishes it off to Henry in front of the Harrison bench. Mason up by 3 with a couple of minutes left to go in the first quarter. Inside the center circle, Mitchell. Well, if nothing else, we've slowed the game down to more of a tempo we really appreciate. Henry hands the ball at the top of the key to Butler. Butler gets it down low to Henry, forces up a shot, it's no good, but a foul is going to be called on the Thoroughbreds. It's going to be called on Sword, and that'll be JD's first. So Terrell Henry at the line for the first time tonight. On the year, Henry is a 70% free throw shooter. He has attempted more free throws than anybody else on the team. In fact, he's nearly doubled the second man. First free throw by the lefty will bounce in there. That will extend the lead for the Royals to its largest at 14-10. 1:53 left on the clock here in the first quarter. The second free throw by Henry is on the way and good as well. Give him 6. As Evan Schumacher checks in for Mason. Schumacher, a 6'4 senior, averaging 3.4 points a game. So
Schumacher
down.
used to play for St. Patrick's. Schumacher's
Yes.
kid. The kid. I mean, that's not him, maybe, but that
Well,
family
yeah,
did.
it is him.
Oh,
Both Maston and Schumacher decided to go elsewhere this year instead of playing for St. Patrick. With the basketball, Sword. Cross timeline on the near side of the midcourt circle. Lost the ball. Loose ball picked up by Kendall. Kendall then loses the ball himself. Steal by Marshall. Marshall 1-on-3. Has the ball back tapped away from behind. He chases down the loose ball and gets it on the wing to Henry. His teardrop shot is no good. And on the rebound, we'll have a tie-up in between Furnish and Henry. Possession arrow will give the ball back to the Thoroughbreds. Biddle will return to the floor now for Harrison, replacing Furnish. Cynthiana Hardee's has great meal options for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Make sure to stop by soon on U.S. Highway 27, south of Cynthiana. Against the full court pressure, Kendall trying to get the ball in bounds. He'll try to get the ball to Caden Custer, who nearly lost it. As we come up the floor, a foul is going to be called on Marshall. That'll be Marshall's first, the team's fifth. Harrison County has committed 4 personal fouls with 1:25 left in the first quarter. 15-10 your score. 4 straight points by Mason have given him this 4-point lead. Still in the backcourt, Kendall gets the ball to Caden. Caden Custard looks over to Brooks, Caden then gives the ball to Kendall. Kendall nearly threw the ball away, but Caden gets it and moves to the top of the key, dumps it into the paint to Kendall, who lays it up and in. Nice assist by Custard. Kendall's first points draws his team back to within 3 at 15-12. And now as we come into the front court, a foul on Sword. That'll be 2 on JD, the first Thoroughbred to pick up multiple fouls. That'll get Tayshawn Custard back into the game, although Tayshawn's going to replace Caden Custard. From his own baseline, Mitchell to trigger the inbounds pass. Lobs it onto the wing to Butler. Butler drives, gets it to the top of the key. A 3 fired up, no good by Schumacher. Rebound pulled down by Hinton. Under a minute to go, and up the floor comes Tayshawn. Drives to the basket and lays it in. Nice dribble drive by Tayshawn. He just never did stop and gets his team back to within 1 at 15-14. 44 seconds left to go in the first quarter. An exciting first quarter of play here on the Hilltop. Mason County up by 1. With the basketball, Mitchell dishes it off to Henry, who steps inside the center circle. Looks back to Coach Kirk to see what play he wants to run or if he wants to run the clock down. 28 seconds left in the quarter, and it looks as though Mason is going to go for the last shot of this first 8 minutes. Right now, near the timeline on the far sideline, it's Henry just yo-yoing the basketball, and now he'll give it off to Mitchell. Mitchell with 10 seconds left. Between the legs dribble, gets it on the right side, knocked away and stolen by Sword. Sword then hits the ball to Tayshawn, who lays it in with 3 seconds left. Big basket there, and that is the way that the first quarter will end with your score. Harrison County 16, Mason County 15. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCYN Sports. Alrighty, back here on the Hilltop, the Thoroughbreds score 6 unanswered points inside the final minute of the first quarter to take their first lead of the game at 16-15. We also had 3 ties early on, but Harrison will head into the second period up by 1. Stay tuned at halftime for stats and a recap during the Fryman's Hilltop Grill halftime report. Tayshawn Custard, Caden Custard, Hinton, Biddle, and Kendall on the floor to begin this second quarter for our side. Inbounds pass will come to Mitchell. Mitchell crosses the timeline, now drifts to the left side in front of the Harrison bench. Reverses, gets it between the circles now to Butler. Butler makes a move to the right elbow extended. Now gets it back between the circles to Henry. Now on the right side to Butler once again. Butler back to Henry, who pitches it to the near side, long range to Mitchell. Good defense by Harrison after that first 2 or 3 minutes. Over on the right side, Marshall has it. Left side with the basketball now, Butler. Back to the right side once again to Marshall. Up top, here's a three by Mitchell. No good, short. Rebound is pulled down by Henry. Baseline pass into the hands of Marshall, who lays it up and in. And the Royals have seesawed back out in front, 17-16. Once again, full court pressure employed by the Royals. See if Harrison County can beat it. Now they do. Now falling down is Caden Custer. And Mason County picks up the loose ball. Mitchell drives to the basket. His shot's going to be blocked, but they're going to call a foul on Biddle. It looked like Blaine might have been there in time, but they're going to say no. And that'll be Biddle's second personal foul.
He's all far under the basket. I don't know if that makes any difference or not, but to this guy, he might think he's an NBA.
Maybe. At the line, Mitchell, he's 2 for 2 tonight. His team up 17-16. First free throw by the lefties, good. And make that Perry about to check back in. 18-16 now your score.
They're 8 out of 8 from the foul line.
Second free throw is also good.
Tried to jinx it, didn't work.
Odds will eventually catch up with them. Down by 3, Harrison with the basketball with 7:10 left to go in the first half. Kendall facing that full court pressure we've seen all game long. He'll get it into the hands of Caden Custer, who will race it into the front court. Goes to the right elbow, then drops it, picks it back up, goes to the block, puts it off the glass, and good. Interesting sequence that time for the freshman, but whatever works brings Harrison County back to within 1. And now a 3 is fired in by Mason County by Perry. Makes it 22-18 in favor of the bad guys. 6:41 left here in this first half. Harrison's trailed by as many as 5. Tayshawn with the basketball on the right side, gets it between the circles to Biddle, to the left side, long range to Hinton. Hinton, top of the key to Kendall. JD looks inside, now gets it into the corner to Tayshawn. Tayshawn moves to the wing. Now a bounce pass to Biddle, goes to the basket and lays it in. Give the assist to Custer, the points to Biddle, as Harrison's back to within 2 at 22-20. With the basketball and now traveling with it, out top will be Butler. So give the ball back to the Thoroughbreds, who will be trying to tie the score or maybe even taking the lead with the trade.
I hope not, because he's having the game of his life.
Yeah, grabbing his back a little bit now.
It's awful physical. I tell you, Mason's defense is one of those that just keep fouling. They'll get tired of calling.
I think you're exactly right. We'll see as the game goes along. Custard still grabbing the backside. Didn't see him do anything, but obviously something did happen as the ball is kicked by Henry.
Maybe it's transferring from Caden, because he's been on the floor hard a couple times.
Need to feed the hungry crew fast? Order a Beast Pizza right now. Don't forget about wings and salads too. Call 235-7627. That's 235. I heard Trent say snap. We'll have to get Ryan to say snap next time. With the basketball, Harrison. Hinton gets the ball to Kendall. Pull-up jumper from 10 is good. JD with 4 points, and we are all knotted up at 22-22.
We've made 9 out of 15 from the field.
Good for us.
And we're tied.
5:46 left to go in the first half. Henry at the foul line, looks around, finds Marshall on the right side, back to the elbow extended on the right side to Henry. Double teamed, looking for the open man, finds Marshall at the top of the key. He'll get it between the circles to Butler. Butler ball fake, now gets it into the corner to Schumacher. Schumacher lobs the ball to near the timeline to Henry. He'll get it back to the left side to Butler. Butler to Perry. Over on the right side, Marshall. Back up top to Perry, to the left side to Butler. He'll fire a 3 from there. No good. Rebound pulled down by Kendall, and Harrison County with a chance to retake the lead, this time down the floor. 3 minutes into the second quarter. Kendall between the legs dribble. Gets it in the hands of Caden Custer, who will move to the right side between the legs dribble. Now gets it between the circles to Biddle. Biddle too far away to shoot from there. Gets the ball to Caden Custer at the left elbow extended. Fall away jumper, air ball. Henry with the rebound for Mason, and he races up the near sideline where he's stopped by Tayshawn. Top of the key, Butler directing some traffic as he knocks down Caden for a charge. Nice play that time by the freshman as Butler picks up his second personal foul. He'll join Anwar Perry as the two Mason County kids with personal fouls as Furnish and Wilson return to the floor for Harrison County. This is the kind of game where you need a deep bench.
Yeah.
From the far sideline, Wilson will trigger the inbounds pass. He'll get it to Caden Custer, who'll give it now to Tayshawn. Tayshawn guarded by Butler as he crosses the midcourt stripe and gets the ball to Wilson. To Hinton, now near the far hash mark, to Tayshawn. Tayshawn drives, stops, looks around, finds Caden Custard flashing to the basket. His layup is no good. Rebound pulled down by Beerley. Beerley will bring the ball into the front court himself. The left-hander gets it in the corner to Henry. Henry backs it back out, gets it between the circles to Butler. Now to the right side, long range to Perry. Perry back near the center circle to Butler. Now to the near side, long range to Mitchell, who will reset the offense from the near side of the midcourt circle. Our defense is keeping this game under control for the Breds. Henry on the wing to Mitchell. Mitchell drives to the elbow, kicks it in the corner to Henry. Henry, pull-up jumper from 10 is no good. And on the rebound, we got over the back on Henry. That'll be Terrell Henry's first personal foul. So we'll go the other way and shoot one and the bonus, as both teams will be in the bonus from here on out. 3:55 left to go in the first half. Harrison County and Mason all knotted up at 22 apiece. We've had 4 ties and a couple of lead changes. Hitting at the line for the first time tonight on the year, an 86% free throw shooter. First free throw by number 5 is on the way and off the flange, no good. Rebounds pulled down this time by Beerley. He'll give the ball to Mitchell. He'll bring the ball into the front court. We're still knotted at 22. Over on the right side, Perry has it, gets it to Henry, and Henry is going to be fouled. Did a little head and shoulder fake and got Furnish up in the air, and Will came down on him. So Beerley at the line where he's 1 for 1. Had an old-fashioned three-point play earlier in the game. Coach Brooks asking the official about that foul that just happened on Furnish. Sophomore's first free throw to put his team back in the lead is good. 23-22. Now your score with the second free throw for Beerley upcoming with 3:42 on the clock. Beerley's second free throw is going to bounce off. Furnish with the rebound for the Breds. That's Will's first rebound of the night. Tayshawn will bring the ball into the front court, directing traffic as he crosses the midcourt stripe and is picked up by Butler. Moves to the right side, long range, and then has the ball stolen away by Mitchell. Mitchell to the basket, lays it in. So the steal and bucket puts the Royals up 25-22. Now another turnover by Harrison County. Going to the basket is Henry. His shot's no good. Rebound is going to be saved by Mitchell. Mitchell puts it up. No. Rebound is going to be dropped out of bounds by Perry. Just couldn't get his hands around it. So down 25-22. Harrison with the basketball. 3 minutes and 8 seconds left to go in the first half. Against the full court pressure, Wilson gets the ball to Tayshawn. You know, Tayshawn's done a pretty darn good job of controlling this press.
Yeah.
He'll lob it to Wilson, who crosses the midcourt stripe and throws it away. Loose ball picked up by Butler. Butler, top of the key for a three, is off the flange. Rebound fought for, and finally Hinton comes up with it for the Reds. To Tayshawn on a run out to Wilson to the block. His shot's no good, but a foul is going to be called on Henry. And that'll be the third Royal with 2 personal fouls. Henry, Perry, and Butler. And we still got 2:48 left to go in the first half. Wilson to the line for the first time tonight on the year, a 71% free throw shooter. Can draw his team back within 1 if he can make both these free throws. First free throw by the freshman, bounces in there, good.
It's our first free throw of the night that we made.
Into the game for Harrison. Ian Boland checking in. Boland, a 6'2 senior, averaging 5.3. Also, Biddle returns to the floor. Wilson's second free throw upcoming is on the way and good as well, as J.D. Kendall will also come back into the contest. 25-24 your score. Mason County up by 1. They've led by as many as 5. Harrison County has held the lead briefly on a couple of occasions, but never by more than 1 possession. Mitchell with the basketball across the timeline on the far side of the circle. Gets it to the far hash mark to Perry. Now in the corner to Henry. Back on the wing. He'll find Mitchell. Mitchell in the corner to Perry once again. Lobs it over the head of everybody, but saving the loose ball was Butler. He'll get it back to Mitchell. Mitchell, who wears the number 1, moves between the circles. Looking at that 2-3 Harrison zone to Butler. Back up top to Mitchell to the right side in front of the stable to Perry. To Mitchell. Back to the near side to Butler. Butler inside. Loose ball picked up by Boland. And now Harrison has a chance to retake the lead. Kendall, bounce pass to Wilson on the baseline. Garrett up top to Caden Custer, who will reset the offense. Freshman backs up inside the center circle, moves to the left side. Now keeps on going to the block, to the glass, and it's good. And Harrison County has retaken the lead at 26-25 on the layup by Caden Custer. 1:54 left to go in the first half. Shot put up no good. Boland with the rebound for the Thoroughbreds. He'll get the ball to Caden. Take your time, Caden. Almost double team, dribbles through it, goes to the left elbow, gets it in the hands of Kendall. Back up top to Wilson, long range. Wilson takes a couple 3 dribbles, picks up it, and now gives it to Caden Custer near the far hash mark.
Oh, their defense is tenacious out there on the ball.
It is. They are up in your shirt. Caden with the basketball falls down, and it's going to be called for the travel. Just tried to make that turn a little bit too quickly. Coming in the game for the first time for Mason County, Julius Booker. Booker, a 5'11 junior, averaging 1.4. Tayshawn Custer returns to the floor for Harrison, as does Braylon Hinton, who will come in and replace J.D. Kendall. So down by 1, Mason County with the basketball. 1.5 left to go in the first half. We've had 4 ties and 3 lead changes so far. With the basketball on the right side, Mitchell moves to the top of the key. Backs up, gets to Perry on the right wing. Perry back up top to Mitchell to the left side. He'll find Beerley. Back up top once again to Mitchell to the right side to Perry. Perry bounces a pass to the new man, Booker, who puts it up and in. Julius Booker with his first possession puts his team back out in front, 27-26. With the basketball with under a minute to go is Harrison County's Tayshawn Custer. Tayshawn gets the ball on the wing to Wilson. To the far hash mark to Hinton. He'll hand it off to Tayshawn. Tayshawn Custer, crossover dribble, steps inside the arc, now back outside the arc. Will hand the ball off to Boland. Boland on the right elbow, gets it down on the block to Biddle. Biddle's hook shot is rolling off the rim, no good. Rebound is going to be pulled down by Beerley. In the front court come the Royals. A 3 by Perry is off the flange. Rebound, though, is going to be picked up by Booker. Booker's already made his presence known in this game and hadn't played 30 seconds. 20 seconds left to go in the half. Mason County up 27-26. They'll play for the last shot going into the locker room. Mitchell calls out the play at 12 as he moves to the far sideline. 9 seconds now. He's in between the circles. Tries to get the ball to Perry, but they're going to call a foul. An illegal screen set by Perry. And that will be Anwar Perry's 3rd personal foul. Sword, Kendall, and Caden Custer will all check back in for Harrison. Also coming in for Mason will be Isaac Marshall. 6.5 seconds left to go in the half. Harrison County will be inbounding the ball from the backcourt near the hash mark. Kendall will do the honors. So plenty of time to get the ball down the floor for a last-second shot to try to put us into the locker room up. Kendall looking for someone to pass to, gets the ball to Sword. Sword crosses the line with 3, with 2. A 3 from the top of the key is no good. And that is the way that the first half will end. An exciting first half here on the Hilltop between 2 of the better teams in the 10th region. Sees Mason County ahead 27-26. We invite you to stay tuned now for our halftime show brought to you by Fryman's Hilltop Grill. We'll go over all the scoring and the stats and see how this game has progressed through the first 16 minutes right after this timeout. But once again, your halftime score, Mason County 27, Harrison County 26. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCYN Sports.
Dealing with the real world wasn't easy, even before the whole global pandemic thing. Trying to pay the bills, worrying about family, or just trying to figure out what you want to be. The good news? Maysville Community and Technical College is open and ready. with on-campus and online programs that can lead to essential careers in IT, healthcare, and more, all at less than half the cost of a four-year university. So never put your dreams on hold and never underestimate you.
Back here at the Hilltop, Harrison County up on, or makes that Mason County up on Harrison County 27-26. Julius Booker hitting a fall-away 10-footer after his team had gotten down by one to put him ahead by one, and that's how the score was as it is, 27-26. We've had 4 ties and 4 lead changes in the game. Harrison County's biggest lead has just been a couple of points, while the Royals have led by as many as 5. Taking a look at the scoring here in the first half. First for the Royals, they were paced by Philip Beerley, who had 6 points here at the break. 5 points each for both Nate Mitchell and Anwar Perry. 6 points as well for Terrell Henry, so they had 2 with 6 and 2 with 5. A couple of points also for Isaac Marshall and Julius Booker's 2, as we mentioned before. Also playing but not scoring in that first half was Evan Schumacher and Mason Butler. For Harrison County, we have a good game going for Tayshawn Custard, who scored 8 first-half points, all in the first quarter. 4 points each for J.D. Sword, Blaine Biddle, and J.D. Kendall, and a couple of points as well for both Caden Custer and Garrett Wilson. Also getting into the game but not scoring were Braylon Hinton, Ian Boland, and Will Furnish. That's the way the individual numbers look. We'll take a break and come back and have Mike take a look at the team stats right after this timeout. We'll be right back with more of the Fryman's Hilltop Grill halftime report right here on WCYN Sports.
The Hilltop, where the Thoroughbreds trail only 27-26 at the halftime of the Mason County Royals, and this is the second half of the Fryman's Hilltop Grill halftime report. For Mason County, they've shot the ball 20 times from the field, have only made 8 for 40%, 1 out of 7 from 3 points for 14%. But here's the game: 10 out of 11 foul shots for 91%. So they've made 8 field goals for 16 points, 1 3-pointer, and then the 10 foul shots. They have 7 turnovers. They have 11 rebounds, 8 defensive and 3 offensive. There's not very many rebounds in the game because the shooting has been really pretty good. For Harrison County shot the ball 21 times and made 12 for 57%, 0 for 3 from 3, and 2 out of 3 from the foul line for 67%. 8 turnovers and 8 rebounds. So, like I said, Mason County off times got offensive rebounds 3 times, got offensive rebounds to put some of the back in. So we've only got 1 offensive rebound in the game. But our shooting has just been phenomenal, 57% with the defense that they're playing against us. So it's a tough ball game, physical ball game. Our guards are getting beat up pretty much. They've been substituting people in and out, but the pressure remains constant on our guards. So it's tough, but we're hanging right in there. And this has been the Fryman's Hilltop Grill halftime report.
All righty, we'll be back with the third quarter handoff after this timeout. Once again, your halftime score, Mason County 27, Harrison County 26. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCYN Sports. All righty, back here at the Hilltop, Harrison County trailing by 1 with about a minute to go in our halftime. Well, as we mentioned before, the Thoroughbreds will be back in action on Thursday night when we'll head up 27 to take on the Mustangs of Bishop Brossart. Brossart may not be great this year as they normally are, but still a formidable opponent that we'll have to play our best at if we want to beat them, especially up at their place. We'll then finish up the regular season on Saturday when we'll host the Defenders of Bryan Station, who are also having a very nice year. That game is at 5 o'clock. Last night, the Phillies went up to Dayton and came back home with a 63-35 victory that evened up their record on the year at 5-5. The Phillies will be on the road for the rest of the season, in fact. On Thursday, they'll head to Maysville to take on the Lady Saints of St. Patrick. On Saturday, they'll move up to Covenant Holy Cross to take on the Lady Indians. And then on Monday, the Phillies will end up the regular season taking on the Lady Demons of Williamstown. On Saturday, our wrestling team will be involved in the state duels, which is being held at Union County. So best of luck to Josh Ashbrook and his team as they try to do the best they can at those state duels. But we've talked about before, Union County is a darn good wrestling program. And
Union
will be
County is
tough.
the old Woodford County. You know, they've always been good, but I think they've stepped it up a notch.
Right, exactly. Johnson Central, also one of the better wrestling teams in the state. But, hey, the way we've wrestled the last 2, 3, 4 years, I'd put us up there with anybody.
We're not going to go up there and surrender.
No, not in the least. All righty, Harrison County down by 1 will have the ball to begin the third quarter of play. Tayshawn Custard, Kendall, Sword, Biddle, and Caden Custard on the floor for our side. And right now the official saying something to Tayshawn about something. Tayshawn's taking it all in, whatever it's about. And he says okay to whatever it was. Be interesting to find out what that conversation was all about.
Coach Brooks, I've been out there trying to find out what it was. This guy's not a coach.
Tayshawn with the basketball on the right side, throws it at the feet of Caden, who cannot control it. He goes out of bounds. Turnover, gives the ball back to Mason.
See, I attribute that to the referee.
Yeah, you got to believe that Tayshawn was still thinking about what that official said, no matter what it was.
He's not a coach or anything close to it. I don't know what that's wrong.
I don't know. All right, with the basketball across the timeline comes Mitchell. I'd only excuse him if he's like a scout from Wake Forest or something like that.
That's true. But I don't think so.
I don't either. Mitchell goes to the basket. His layup is rolling off. No good. Caden Custard with the rebound. Into the front court with the basketball. Moves to the foul line and has the ball back tapped away from behind and stolen by Mitchell. Mitchell out front to Henry, who lays it up and in. Terrell Henry with 8 points. Puts his team up by 3, 29-26. We're fumble-fingered around there a little bit so far here to start out the third quarter.
2 straight turnovers.
Custard gets the ball. It's Tayshawn to Sword on the baseline. Sword looking for help. Lobs it to Tayshawn, who drops it. 4 straight turnovers for the Thoroughbreds. Beerley goes to the basket, misses the layup, but he's going to be fouled by Kendall. We have come out of the locker room flat on our feet. As we said, Kendall picks up his first personal foul, sending Beerley to the line. Beerley 2 for 3 from the charity stripe tonight.
Well, that time, JD had the ball in the corner, and our guards ran off from him.
Yeah.
And then he had to make a pass that was kind of wild.
First free throw by the left-hander. This time rims out.
Hey,
Had a little too much English.
They missed 2 straight after
He'll
hitting 10 in a row.
Maybe. Second free throw upcoming for number 35, just a sophomore. Came in averaging 9. Is 2/3 of the way there already. Second one's on the way, and this one will be good to extend the Royals' lead to 4 at 30-26. Up the floor with the basketball comes Tayshawn Custard. Tayshawn crosses the line in the middle of the floor. Now between the legs dribble. Moves in between the circles now to the right side, long range. Dishes it off to Kendall at the top of the key. He can't control it, but luckily Caden Custard is there to pick up the loose ball. I don't know what our problem is. Tayshawn in between the circles once again to reset the offense.
I don't think they changed defenses or anything. They look like they're playing the same thing.
Looks to be. Tayshawn moves to the left side of the lane, kicks it on the wing to Sword, who forces up a 3. It's an air ball. That's a terrible shot. Rebound pulled down by Perry. Quickly in the front court, here come the Royals. Perry up top to Mitchell for a 3. In and out. Rebound pulled in by Caden Custard. He'll bring the ball up the floor himself. 1-on-4, goes to the basket, has the ball knocked out of his hands, and Perry has the loose ball. Perry, outlet pass to Beerley, who lays it up and in. And we are in desperate need of a timeout. And we will be taking one now. We'll take it as well. 6:02 left to go in the third. Your score, Mason County 32, Harrison County 26. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCYN Sports. All righty, back here at the Hilltop. Mason County has opened up the second half with 5 unanswered points as Harrison's turned the ball over 4 out of 5 times down the floor. Now let's see if the timeout works. Mason's largest lead right now at 6. Top of the key, Biddle, left side, Caden Custer, long range now to Kendall, top of the key for a three, no good. Rebound on the floor is going to end up in the hands of Tayshawn Custer. Puts it back up and in. Tayshawn's 10th point stops the mini run and gets Harrison County back to within 4. And now a three-pointer by
The left-handed guy.
by Perry. Who?
Phillip somebody.
Beerley.
Yeah, right.
Here's a shot put up by Harrison, no good, and Perry comes down with the rebound. In the front court, going to the basket, barely in the paint, a 10-footer is no good. Sword pulls down the board for Harrison. We need a score here, down 35-28. With the basketball up top is Kendall for three. Rolls off the front of the rim, no good. Biddle rebound, no good, but he's fouled. And Blaine is going to go to the line for a couple. His team trailing 35-28. Fouls on Butler. That'll be his third. This will be Biddle's first free throws of the night on the year. Blaine is a 56% free throw shooter. His first one is way off the mark, no good. He'll have another, however, as Garrett Wilson returns to the floor. Coach Brooks using a rotation of about 8 or 9 guys. Second free throw for Blaine is going to rattle out, no good. Rebound, though, is pulled in by Caden Custer, and then he'll have his pocket picked by Butler. Golly. Into the front court with the basketball, race the Royals, and now underneath the basket a little bit too far was Mitchell. I think that Butler, but he's able to bounce it off of a thoroughbred to maintain possession for Mason.
Butler went way too far in there.
Yeah. Here's a pass to Mitchell, inbounds pass, and Mitchell scores the bucket as we were unprepared. 37-28 is now your score after the Mitchell layup. 4:38 left in the third quarter. Harrison reeling right now. Wilson back to Tayshawn Custer. Tayshawn directing traffic as he goes between the circles. Now moves to the right side, steps inside the arc, now back outside the arc, moves to the left side where he'll hand the ball to Caden Custer. Caden at the elbow extended on the far side is going to be fouled. A little bit too much overguarding on the person of Terrell Henry. So Henry, Perry, and Butler all have 3 personal fouls. Wilson will inbounds the ball from the hash mark across the way from us. He'll get it inside to Tayshawn near the timeline. Tayshawn Custer had a disgusted look on his face. Somebody must have not been where they're supposed to be. Wilson with the basketball now to the right wing to Caden Custer. Number 1 guarding number 1. Now Biddle has the ball. He'll get it to Caden. Now Caden will race to the block underneath the basket. Reverse layup is good. Just what the doctor ordered. The first points of the second half for Caden. Gets his team back to within 7 at 37-30. And now nearly a steal by Tayshawn. But the ball goes out of bounds. 3:55 left to go in the third. Mason County up by 7. They led by 1 at the half. Across the timeline with the basketball comes Mitchell. Crossover dribble, and now they're going to call palming on him. So give the ball back to the Thoroughbreds. You need someone to protect your home, auto, and more like they're protecting the rim? That's when you call Dan Furnish. Call Dan with any questions about insurance coverage at 234-4514. That's 234-4514, Dan Furnish. Walking across the timeline is Tayshawn. His team down by 7. Now gets it on the right elbow to Wilson. Wilson will hand the ball at the top of the key to Caden Custer. Caden goes to the block, splits the defense, and makes the shot. Nice drive that time by the freshman. And Harrison County is back to within 5 at 37-32. 3:25 on the clock here in the third. Now on the baseline is Butler. Gets it to Perry. Down low to Henry from the block. His shot blocked out of there by Garrett Wilson. And Garrett gets the rebound as well. And here come the Breds racing up the far sideline. Caden Custer, and a charge is going to be called as he stuck that forearm out. A lot of acting by Butler, but it was the correct call. It's 2 fouls on Caden. From the sideline across the way, but first Braylon Hinton into the game. 37-32, 3:11 left here in the third quarter. Harrison County has trailed by as many as 9. With the basketball in the corner, Perry fires a three-pointer way long. Offside rebound pulled in by Tayshawn Custer. Tayshawn in the front court to Hinton. Hinton from the block, pull-up jumper, good. Yes. The freshman scores his first 2 points to draw Harrison back to within 3 at 37-34. And now a timeout called by the Royals. They still lead 37-34. We'll take the timeout with them. 2:46 left to go in the third. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCYN Sports.
Dealing with the real world wasn't easy, even before the whole global pandemic thing. Trying to pay the bills, worrying about family, or just trying to figure out what you want to be. The good news? Maysville Community and Technical College is open and ready, with on-campus and online programs that can lead to essential careers in IT, healthcare, and more, all at less than half the cost of a 4-year university. So never put your dreams on hold, and never underestimate you.
Back here on the hilltop, Harrison County has scored 6 unanswered points to draw back to within 3 at 37-34 out of the timeout. Mason with the basketball. Still loads at this time in this basketball game. 2:46 in the third. Mitchell across the timeline, drifts to the right side, lobs it inside the arc on that side to Beerley. Beerley splits the double team, gives the ball to Henry. Henry drops the ball, picks it up again, looking for help, finds Mitchell, who will look over to Coach Kirk to see what play he wants to run as he balances the floor inside that center circle. Mitchell moves to the right elbow, pull-up jumper, short. Rebound is going to be fought for, and J.D. Sword comes up with it, and here come the Breds, down by 3. Tayshawn in the corner, Kendall for a 3, no good, rolls off the rim. Sword going for the rebound, can't grab it, goes out of bounds, give it back to the Royals. Was a good shot by J.D. Kendall just did not go in. Inbounds pass will come to Mitchell. Tempo still very much to the Breds' liking. Across the timeline, Mitchell, the junior, moves to the right side in front of his own bench. Now gets it to the foul line to Henry. Henry in the paint, spins, puts up a shot, no good, but he's fouled by Garrett Wilson. And Henry will go to the line for 2. Henry 2 for 2 from the line tonight. Had 6 points in the first quarter, but only 2 points since that time. A couple of ticks under 2 minutes to go in the third.
Shooting 2 shots.
First free throw by the sophomore, who's also a fine football player as well, is on the way and good. Caden Custer will check back in for the Breds as they've seen the deficit grow back out to 4 at 38-34.
I wonder if he played football. He tried to go through 3 guys while going up.
Second free throw for the sophomore is on the way, and this one is good as well. He has an even 10. Came in averaging twice that. Down 39-34. Harrison County with the basketball. It's Caden Custer near the center circle. Drifts to the right side. Now we're back to the left. He reverses. Now steps inside the arc, looking for help as he's picked up his dribble. Somebody come and help him. He lobs to Kendall between the circles. Kendall to Hinton on the wing. He'll move it back to the top of the key where he'll hand it off to Caden. Caden Custer now in the corner to Kendall. Kendall drives to the elbow, now drives back to the wing where he'll dump it off in the corner to Caden Custer. He'll fire a 3, bounces off, no good. Rebound saved from going out of bounds by Perry, but he saves it to the wrong team. That being Harrison County as Braylon Hinton's shot's no good. And on the rebound, we're going to have a tie-up between Sword and Perry. Alternating possession arrow faces the way of Mason County. Don't get sped up too much. Tayshawn Custard will re-enter the game to replace J.D. Sword. Facing some token pressure by the Thoroughbreds, which backs off now when Mitchell gets the inbounds pass. He'll bring the ball up the floor as he looks over to Coach Kirk to see what play he wants to run. Mitchell on the right wing in front of his own bench. Now moves near the top of the key where he'll get the ball to Butler to the left side to Perry. Perry now looking, gets it in the corner, puts it up from 15 feet, good. Anwar Perry's 7th point puts his team back up by 7, 41-34. With under a minute to go in the third quarter. 46 seconds, now 43 to be exact. Inside the center circle, Tayshawn to the right side, long range to Hinton. Braylon gets the ball to Kendall, who moves to the block, but before he can get off a shot, he's going to be fouled by Beerley. That foul on Beerley will be his second personal foul.
Would have rather had the basket.
Oh, absolutely. Coming into the game, Schumacher returns for Mason. Also, Julius Booker will step onto the floor. Blaine Biddle will be coming in for the Thoroughbreds, replacing Garrett Wilson. From his own baseline, Hinton will trigger the inbounds pass. Hinton looking. Come on, somebody get open. Come on. Lobs it in, knocked away. And the loose ball picked up by Tayshawn as he tries to get it back to Hinton. It goes off his fingers out of bounds. So off the turnover with 30 seconds left in the quarter, Mason County will have the ball. Well, their MO in the first 2 quarters was to wait it out for the last shot. Let's see if they do it again for a third time here in the third quarter. Leading 41-34, they led by 1 at the half. Extended that lead out to as many as 9 when Harrison County committed 4 turnovers in their first 5 possessions of this half.
Had 7 turnovers this quarter.
10 seconds on the clock. Mitchell still near the timeline. 8 seconds. He makes his move to the top of the key with 5. Gets it in the corner to Beerley. Up top to Butler, who fires a 3 at the buzzer. No good. So at the end of 3, your score, Mason County 41, Harrison County 34. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCYN Sports. All righty, here we go. As Mae West would say, fasten your seatbelt. It's going to be a bumpy ride all the way to the end. 41-34. The 11-3 Royals leading the 9-7 Thoroughbreds. So we said before, Mason was supposed to be rebuilding this year when they lost 4 of their 5 starters, representing 85% of their offense. But they've done extremely well so far this season with just 3 losses in 14 games up to now. Just like the Breads and Phillies delivering 3-pointers, Kellyan's Pizza can deliver to you tonight. Call 298-2048 to place your order. Also available for pickup in the Bridge Street Plaza. Harrison will have the ball to begin this 4th quarter. Needing some points. They trailed by as many as 9. Had cut the deficit down to 3. But the last 4 points of the 3rd quarter scored by Mason, making it a 41-34 score. Tayshawn across the timeline will be faced by Booker, who stays in there. He'll get the ball to the left side to Kendall. Kendall hands it off to Caden Custer in front of his own bench. Caden goes between the circles, now drifts to the right side long range where he'll hand the ball to Sword. Sword in the paint, nearly traveled, now puts up a 10-footer good. 6 points now for JD. Gets Harrison back to within 5 at 41-36. Opening moments of the 4th quarter. Mitchell to the right side finds Butler. Back up top, he'll find Schumacher. Now on the wing to Butler in front of his own bench. Gets it to Mitchell, who will bring it on the near side of the midcourt circle to reset the offense as he steps inside that circle. Gets it to the right elbow. Now up top to Schumacher. To the left side to Booker. Booker, a pass to Beerley. Goes to the basket. His shot's going to be blocked, but a foul is going to be called on Harrison County. I think it's going to be on Biddle. We'll make for sure. Nope, it's going to be on Sword. That'll be Sword's 3rd. Heading to the line will be Beerley. He is 3 for 5. Made 2, missed 2, made 1. Has 12 points, 3 above his season's average. First free throw here is going to bounce in there. Back in the game, Henry and Perry return for the Royals. who now lead 42-36.
Schumacher goes out of the game. He and Biddle were really banging in underneath.
They're two
when we
big
had the ball.
boys. Second free throw for Beerley is going to rim out. Sword comes down with the board for the Thoroughbreds. Tayshawn will walk the ball up the floor and into the front court. His team down by half a dozen as we go under 7 minutes left to go. Kendall on the left side, pitches it to the far sideline to Tayshawn. Here in the second half, Mason County's defense has not been quite as assertive. Caden Custer races to the basket, misses the shot, but a foul is going to be called on the Royals. And boy, that was a ghost foul if I ever saw one. Foul's on Perry, and that'll be Anwar Perry's fourth personal. And we'll send Caden to the line for the first time tonight on the year, a 61% free throw shooter.
The JV official made that call. But
first free throw is going to be perfect. Harrison County back to within 5 at 42-37. Caden will have a second free throw here with 6:45 left. Second free throw's on the way and good as well. And now a timeout called by Harrison, just a 30-second timeout. So we'll keep it right here. Harrison trailing 42-38 with 6:45 left. And Mike, we thought it was going to be a close one, and it has not disappointed.
no, we just kind of were hanging around, and I'm sure Mason's coach is very unhappy about the fact that he probably feels like they're letting us hang around. But we're battling hard, and they're playing. Everybody's playing hard. It's been a tough game, but we're hanging in there. I think it's a good ball game for us.
It is so far, and they got to remember Carpenter's not in the game as he's injured. Cynthiana Hardee's has great meal options for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Make sure to stop by soon on U.S. Highway 27, south of Cynthiana. 42-38. Harrison County coming into the game about a 2-point underdog, and it has been that close. Out of the timeout, Mason will have the basketball, though. Henry will inbounds it to Mitchell. Mitchell will bring the ball up the floor. Not in any hurry. If nothing else, we have controlled the tempo of this ball game. Mitchell goes to the left side, down to the block, to the glass, misses the layup. Rebound pulled in by Tayshawn, and here come the Breds. Tayshawn, 1-on-2, wisely backs it back out again. Now fires a three-pointer, count it down. Tayshawn Custer with a Killian's Pizza three-pointer has gotten his team back to within 4 at 45-41. 6:14 left on the clock.
The scoreboard's not right.
No, it's not. With the basketball up top is Beerley. Beerley drives to the block, spins, and now a travel call gives the ball back to the Thoroughbreds. Beerley, a big kid, just not accustomed to making that kind of a move. 42-41.
Yeah, it went wild there for a minute.
Yeah. Harrison down by 1, but with the basketball, have come back from a 9-point deficit almost all the way. Tayshawn in the front court between the circles. To the left side finds Caden Custer.
There he is.
Caden drives, puts up an off-balance shot, and they're going to call an offensive foul on Caden. He did duck that shoulder, and that might be a makeup call from the mystery foul on Perry earlier.
It might be.
So Mason up by 1, and with the ball, still 5:45 on the clock. Across the timeline comes Mitchell. Mitchell moves to the left side on the wing. Waits for his people to start moving. Gets the ball to Perry at the top of the key. Perry back to Mitchell left side. He'll back it back out again to reset the offense on the far side of the circle. Just farther to the left side near the corner now. To the top of the key to Perry. Perry back to Mitchell on the left side. Good defense by Harrison. Now Mitchell drives into the paint, and they're going to call a foul on Tayshawn and a technical foul on Tayshawn as well. There'll be the second and third fouls on Tayshawn Custer. And not only will they get foul shots and technical shots, they will also get the ball back. At the line will be Henry. He's 4 for 4, making 5 for 5. Extends his team's lead. Back out to 2 with that first free throw. Second free throw on the way and good as well. see if he'll shoot the technical free throws
I think
as well.
He did. That was a common
Oh, those
foul.
were the tech. That's right.
Yeah.
Just a common foul. So down by 2, or 3 rather, 44-41. Harrison County on defense. And now a whistle. And the officials are.
Wait a minute. They're in the bonus. They should be getting the foul shot.
Yeah, now the officials are trying to figure out
well, he's got to get
how to correct it.
He made the foul. He's got to give him the technical shots now.
Well, I thought those were the technical shots.
Well, if not, if that was a bonus.
True.
And it's got bonus underneath their name.
Yeah. So while the officials try to figure things out, now they do. They're going to call the coaches over to explain to them what's going on here.
Now Larry's got a question here.
Yeah, official score wants to know what's going on as well. So we can get this all straightened out. Oh, okay. The common foul was the 6th foul, team foul. The technical foul was the 7th, which
Okay.
put us into the bonus, put them into the bonus.
So that's why they're not shooting. The
Yeah.
technical foul. Okay. If it'd been the other way around, then they'd have shot it.
Right. So
Well,
Mason
it would've
County
been
with
the other way around.
the ball, leading 44-41. Just over 5 minutes left to go. Cross the timeline comes Mitchell. Crossover dribble to the top of the key. Gets the ball to Butler, who's back in the game. Now to Perry on the far sideline. Perry being harassed by Caden Custer. Now fires a 3 from the corner. Rims out. Offside rebound pulled down by Tayshawn. And here come the Thoroughbreds. Down by 3. Caden Custer goes inside the arc to the block, to the glass. It's going to be good. Harrison County back to within 1 at 44-43. Now a 3 fired up. Good by Mitchell. A dagger from the right side, deep on the right side. Puts his team up by 4, 47-43. That was a huge tray there.
He didn't hesitate. He came right down and fired it up.
Under 4.5 minutes left to go. Harrison down by 4, but with the basketball. Kendall gives the ball to Caden Custer. Caden in the corner to Kendall, down to the block to Biddle. Biddle is now going to be called for, or a foul called against Mason County. I think it's going to be on Beerley.
It's a common foul.
It's going to be Beerley's 3rd, so now one player with 4 fouls for Mason, 3 with 3. Caden Custer with the basketball on the left side. Backs up near the timeline to get everybody where they're supposed to be. Coach Brooks shouting instructions. From the foul line, Caden Custer, jump shot, good. That's 6 points here in the 4th quarter for Caden as he gets his team back to within 2 at 47-45. Under 4 to go with the basketball. Pass intended for Perry goes out of bounds as Mitchell's pass was wide. So on the turnover, give the ball back to the Thoroughbreds, who have a chance to either tie this game or take the lead with a tray. And now a timeout called by Mason. Harrison County trails 47-45 with 3:43 left to go in this basketball game. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCYN Sports. Alrighty, out of the timeout, Harrison County with the basketball following the Mason County turnover, down 47-45. Caden Custard lets the ball roll nearly to the midcourt stripe, but it slowed down so much it almost stopped. Picks it up, moves to the top of the key. At their elbow extended, now drops the ball. Loose ball is retrieved by Biddle. Blaine up top, Kendall for a three in the lead. No! And on the rebound, Terrell Henry is going to be called for the foul as he hooked, trying to get possession. Actually, it's Perry. And if my figures are correct, that's 5 on Anwar Perry. So Anwar Perry fouls out with 3:29 left. Scored 7 points, but the Royals will have to play the final 3:29 without him.
We're 0 for 9 from 3. We might want to consider something else. Or keep shooting. We're bound to make one after
Right.
one or the other.
Marshall checks back in for Mason after the common foul. From his own baseline, Sword will trigger the inbounds pass.
We're in the bonus after this now. So.
Yes, with the next foul, both teams will be in the bonus. So Sword still waiting on the ball from the official. Now gets it, lobs it in the corner to Kendall. Kendall moves to the wing in front of his own bench. Now moves it on near the timeline. They're trying to get the ball to Caden, but Mitchell's all over him. Kendall out top, now moves in between the circles to the right elbow extended. Bounce pass to Sword, who goes to the basket and lays it in. What a pass by J.D. Kendall, and Sword has tied the game at 47-47. Harrison County's come all the way back from a 9-point deficit. Boy, what a play. 3 minutes left. Now a blocking foul called on Biddle that could have very well gone against Mitchell for a charge. 3 fouls on Biddle, and that will send Mitchell to the line where he is 4 for 4. Coach Brooks asking 2 of the officials about that foul call.
And you know what they told him? Keep your guys from jumping up and down on the bench.
Mitchell trying to put his team back up with 2:59 left. Just like the Breds and Phillies delivering 3-pointers, Kellyan's Pizza can deliver to you tonight. Call 298-2048 to place your order. Also available for pickup in the Bridge Street Plaza. First free throw is good by Mitchell to put his team back out on top by 1. 48-47. Second free throw is also good by the junior. Harrison County once again finds themselves down by a deuce.
21 free throws for them, 7 for us.
God makes you wonder. Cross timeline comes Caden Custer on the near side of the midcourt circle. Now makes his move, uses a pick from Biddle, goes to the block, and before he can put up a shot, he's going to be fouled by Mitchell. That'll be the first foul on Nate Mitchell in the game. Cynthiana Hardee's has great meal options for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Make sure to stop by soon on U.S. Highway 27, south of Cynthiana.
We caught a break there. Blaine was moving on that pick. They didn't call it.
Yeah. Caden Custer, 2 for 2 from the line, has 6 of his 14 points here in the fourth quarter.
That's not the first call they've missed either.
No, they've missed several. Not as bad as last night up at Dayton, but
no.
First free throw by the freshman is perfect.
These guys might be not great, but they're not ninth region officials either.
Second free throw upcoming for Caden to try to tie the score again with 2:46 left.
Well, this one guy might be able to make it in ninth region.
Second free throw is good as well, and we are all knotted up this time again at 49-49. Into the front court with the basketball comes Mitchell. Moves to the top of the key to the left side. Now hands it off to Marshall from the elbow. Jump shot short. Rebound pulled down by Biddle. And here come the Breds trying to retake the lead.
I love that shot for them.
Yeah, that was a terrible shot by Marshall. Sophomore coming off the bench. Custer, that's Caden with the basketball inside the center circle, looking over to Coach Brooks to see what call he has. 2:18 left, 49-49 from here on the hilltop. Tournament atmosphere basketball. Kendall, backdoor cut to Custer. Caden misses the shot, however, and on the rebound it's going to be Beerley. Beerley has the ball taken away by Sword.
And he was over and back. They didn't call it.
Well, he didn't have possession. And now a timeout called by Harrison County. See if it's a 30 or a full. 2 minutes exactly left to go in the game. Your score, Harrison County 49, Mason County 49. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCYN Sports. All righty, back here at the Hilltop. 49 for us, 49 for them. 2 minutes exactly on the clock. Harrison County with the basketball. Possession arrow faces Mason County. We have 2 timeouts left. They have 3. Now you're set. Caden Custer with the basketball on the right side, guarded by Butler. And now we're going to have an illegal screen set by Biddle. Well, like you said, that might be a makeup call for the illegal screen they didn't call earlier.
Yep.
That's going to be 4 fouls on Blaine Biddle.
This guy here is a makeup call king. The one I said would qualify for the 9th region.
Inbounds pass comes to Henry. He'll bring the ball into the front court. To the left elbow in the paint. A leaner from 10 is no good, but he's fouled, and they go to the line for 2. That foul on Caden Custer, and that'll be Caden's 4th. So Henry back to the line where he is a perfect 6 for 6 on the night. Trying to put his team back in the lead. First free throw by the sophomore. Left-hander is good. Back out on top go the Royals, 50-49. With 1:43 left as the Breads switch positions underneath the basket. Visit Fryman's Hilltop Grill for daily specials Monday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. You can call ahead for quick pickup by dialing 234-1797. Second free throw for Henry is up and good as well. Man, ice water his veins.
Foul shots that make numbers. Who was on the basket?
51-49. Mason County up. Harrison with the ball. Thoroughbreds have not led in this half. Kendall with the basketball on the left side. Reverses back near the center circle where he'll get the ball into the hands of Caden Custer. Minute and a half left. Caden driving around Butler, but cut off on the elbow by Beerley. Now just dribbling out there, and a foul is eventually going to be called on Butler, who just couldn't keep up all that time. For Butler, that will be his 4th foul. Perry has already fouled out for Mason. Butler's got 4. Henry and Beerley with 3 each. As Caden Custer goes to the line where he is 4 for 4 tonight. Thanks for telling him to make those free throws at supper the other night.
Yeah, well, I was hesitating about saying anything because here he's on the line again.
Yeah. I didn't say, I was talking about you.
Oh, I know.
I'm not trying to jinx you either.
Yeah.
First free throw is perfect. I think he's got more arch on those free throws now than he did before.
He does, and he's relaxing, and he's bending his knees. I think he's thinking about it a little bit.
1:23 left. This is for the tie. This second free throw upcoming. 9 of Caden's 17 points have come here in the 4th quarter. Free throw on the way and bounces out. Rebound, knocked out of bounds.
All right, they lost.
As Beerley and Henry were fighting over the rebound. They fought each other away from it, so Harrison County with the basketball now, trailing by 1. From his own baseline to trigger the inbounds pass will be Caden Custer. Not a soul has left this arena or gymnasium since the game began, and they ain't leaving now. Caden lobs the ball to Kendall near the center circle. Kendall in between the circles now. Now looking inside, dribbles to the right side where he'll get the ball to Tayshawn. Tayshawn Custer in the paint, kicks it on the wing to Kendall. Kendall drives baseline, pull-up jumper from 10 is short. Rebound is going to be dragged down by Custard. Harrison maintains possession. Back to Sword as we're under a minute to go, and a timeout is going to be called by Harrison County. We'll take it as well. 58 seconds left to go, your score. Mason County 51, Harrison County 50. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCYN Sports. Here we go. 58 seconds left on the clock. Mason County leads 51-50. Harrison County has the basketball. The possession arrow faces Mason County. The Thoroughbreds have just one timeout left, while Mason County has 3.
I think it's a 30, too.
Huh?
I think it's a 30 that we got left, I think.
Yeah, we just have that 1:30 left. You're correct. Kendall will inbounds the ball from the hash mark in front of the bench area for his team. He'll get it to Tayshawn. Tayshawn's had a second consecutive very nice game. He played well against Nicholas on Saturday, has 13 points today, matching his career best. Pass to the left side to Sword. Sword spins, backs up, gets it back to Tayshawn, a step inside the center circle. Tayshawn makes a move to the right elbow, spins, gets it back to the top of the key to Sword. He'll fire a 3 for the lead. No! And the rebound is brought down by Mitchell of Mason County. Races into the front court, 3-on-2. Gets it down low and into the hands of a teammate who misses the shot but is fouled and will go to the line for 2. Foul's going to be called on Sword. That'll be his 4th. So we got Custer, that's Caden, Sword, and Biddle with 4 fouls apiece as Isaac Marshall goes to the line for the first time tonight. On the year, Marshall is attempting his first free throws of the season. Misses the first.
Makes you wonder why he's out there.
Yeah. Well, it's because Perry fouled out.
I know, but surely.
Second free throw upcoming for the sophomore. It's on the way and good. 52-50 is your score. As there are now less than 30 seconds left to go in this basketball game. And now Harrison County will take its final timeout, trailing 52-50 with 24 seconds left. And Mike, do you wait and go for a last shot to either tie the game or go ahead, or do you just go ahead and run the offense and trust your defense to stop them on the other end?
I think we got to score. We got to go ahead and try to score. And, you know, I don't know that I wouldn't set up a play to shoot a three-pointer. We've made one all night. Odds are.
Right. Well, the percentages have to eventually catch up.
We're 1, 2, 3, 1 for 10 right now.
Oh, wow.
So, you know, 2 out of 11 is not great, but it's good enough to win.
Yes. We just need one. And, of course, the old adage is you go for the win at home, you go for the tie on the road, and we're at home, so let's go for the win.
And the unusual thing about this, the guy that made the three-pointer is Tayshawn.
Right, who's not normally our three-point shooting threat.
No, and J.D. Sword had a good look at that last one. That was, and it just didn't go in.
Just didn't go in, yeah.
He shot pretty relaxed and stuff. I don't know. It's.
We shall see. Need to feed a hungry crew fast? Order a Beast Pizza right now. Don't forget about wings and salads too. Call 235-7627. That's 235. Ryan said snap. With the basketball, Caden Custer moves to the right side, guarded by Butler. Harrison down by 2. We're down to 17 seconds. Caden drives baseline, goes to the basket, double team, forces it up, good off the glass, and we're knotted at 52. 7 seconds left with the basketball. Mitchell, Henry in the front court on the wing. 2 seconds left. Here's a shot at the buzzer, no, and we're going to overtime as Beerley's 15-footer was off the mark. So an extra period coming up after this timeout. Your score, Harrison County 52, Mason County 52. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCYN Sports.
Dealing with the real world wasn't easy, even before the whole global pandemic thing. Trying to pay the bills, worrying about family, or just trying to figure out what you want to be. The good news? Maysville Community and Technical College is open and ready, with on-campus and online programs that can lead to essential careers in IT, healthcare, and more, all at less than half the cost of a four-year university. So never put your dreams on hold, and never underestimate you.
Hilltop, Harrison County playing its first overtime game of the season. Mason County playing in its fourth. Last Saturday, they beat Montgomery County in Mount Sterling 79-76 in an extra period. They've also had a loss to Bourbon in overtime in the second game of the season. And 2 days later, they beat Scott County 66-64 in an extra session. As far as the series between Harrison County and Mason County, this is the third overtime game in the 87 games we played. The first one was back in February of 97 at the Field House, a game which Mason won 63-57. And then in 2012, here on the Hilltop, Harrison County won 53-51 in double overtime. Right now, the coaches are out near the middle of the floor getting the coin flip to decide who will get the ball first, and Harrison County will take over first here in the extra period.
Apparently he used a coin that wasn't clear what was a head and what was a tail.
Yeah.
Gee, why would
Must
you
have
do
been
that?
faded.
Well, it's some kind of a fancy coin or something. I would have loaned him a quarter.
Yeah.
Well, I think I gave the last one I got. A lot of use. I don't think I loaned it.
Yeah,
So,
that's the way it is
yeah.
usually with coins.
Yeah.
You don't loan them coins.
Yeah, you lose
You
them.
lose them forever. J.D. Kendall will inbounds the ball. 4 minutes in our first extra period. Harrison County's, almost lost it. Harrison County's last overtime game was in 2017 when we went to hosted Woodford and lost 70-57. With the basketball, Tayshawn at the foul line. Now in the paint, gets it on the wing to Caden. He'll go to the baseline. His 12-footer's blocked out of there by Henry, and Henry gets the rebound as well. Into the front court come the Royals. Up top, Butler. Thought about the three for a second, then turned it down. Gets it to Mitchell over on the far sideline. Mitchell, a step inside the center circle, guarded by Sword. Gets it to the elbow, extended to Henry. Henry goes down to the block, pushes off, no call. He'll kick it back up top to Marshall. To Beerley, now on the right side to Butler, long range. Butler gets it back on the near side of the midcourt circle to Henry. Henry drives inside the arc, spins in the paint, puts up a 12-footer, no good. Rebound pulled down by Biddle, and here come the Breads. Score still tied. We've played a minute. Tayshawn takes it all the way, but misses the layup. Rebound pulled down by Beerley. I think that Tayshawn was expecting contact that never came. In the front court on the left side is Butler. Neither team has scored yet. Mitchell now with the basketball on the left wing. He'll bring it back up top to reset the offense in between the circles. Pass to the right side to Butler in front of his own bench. 2:45 left to go in our first extra period, still 52 all. Butler gets it down on the baseline to Beerley. Beerley throws the ball away, steal by Kendall. Beerley got up in the air and had nowhere to go.
He was way behind the backboard.
Yes, he was. Kendall in the front court gets the ball to Tayshawn. A step inside the center circle, now drifts to the right side, long range. Tayshawn between the circles, drifts to the left side now. Gets to the top of the key to Kendall. Kendall back to Tayshawn. Tayshawn on the right side, still long range, fires it to the near sideline to Caden. Down on the block to Biddle. Biddle, backdoor cut, but nobody was cutting. Goes out of bounds. And I think that Mason Beerley might have touched it last.
It hit Tim's foot.
So the officials will say it's going to stay in the hands of Harrison County. So the Thoroughbreds maintain possession. I think it's the right call. It's the right call. Henry still lobbying the official on the baseline.
The guy that's arguing wasn't the guy that hit. It hit Butler's foot.
Yeah. Sword from his own baseline, lobs to Kendall in the corner. Kendall on the wing in front of his own bench. Now brings it back near the center circle. Now between the circles. Watch out, JD. Butler's on him defensively, and now the ball's loose, and it goes out of bounds.
Dribbled too much.
He was just trying to get between a couple of double teamers and lost the ball. So in front of Jimmy Wilson, Mason County will inbounds the ball. But first, a break.
Well, he has to put his shirt tail in. That's a damn important thing to have happen.
That gives Harrison the opportunity to get Garrett Wilson into the ball game as Kendall will have a seat. Inbounds pass comes to Mitchell. We're still knotted at 52 all. We played half of the first extra session. From the elbow on the right side, Henry gives it off to Mitchell. Mitchell in the paint. A leaner from 10 is going to bounce in there. And the Royals have gone back out on top by a score of 54-52. Quick 30-second timeout by Mason with 1:46 left. And I don't know, Mike, you just get the feeling that once again we're in that mode of trying not to lose.
Yeah, we're dribbling. We start all of a sudden, we start dribbling too much.
Yeah.
We've been doing that the whole game, and we started to do that and we turned it over. And You know, it's Mason has, they play like veteran players. I don't know. I know
Yes.
they're not all veteran
No, they're not.
players, but they do play like that.
Well, I guess it's better to play like it than just be like it,
Yeah.
or something like that. All right, Breds only down by 2, 54-52. Remember, the Breds came all the way back from a 9-point deficit earlier after halftime. So 2 points is not all that terrible. Breds will be back in action once again on Thursday when we'll head up to Alexandria to take on Bishop Brossart. On that same night, the Phillies will be in Maysville taking on the Lady Saints of St. Patrick. So here we go. Breds down by 2. Kendall will inbounds the ball to Caden Custer as he's back into the game. Caden, J.D. Sword, and Biddle with 4 fouls apiece. Perry's already fouled out for Mason, and Butler has 4. Caden Custer guarded by Butler. Now picked up defensively by Henry. Just dribbling the ball around in between the circles. Almost lost it. Picks it back up. And now the ball is stolen by Mitchell. Mitchell to the basket, lays it in. 56-52 off of the steal and bucket by Mitchell. 1:20 left. Now going to the basket. Custer, that's Tayshawn. He makes the basket. He has 15 points now and draws his team back to within 2 at 56-54. 1:09 on the clock. With the basketball, just holding it on his hip is Henry near the timeline on the near sideline. Mason County doesn't have to do anything. They're the ones that lead by 2 as we go under a minute to go. Now Henry double team, knocked away. Loose ball picked up by Sword. Gets it to Tayshawn. Tayshawn comes to the near wing. Now gets it back to Caden, who will reset the offense. 47 seconds left and a timeout called by the Thoroughbreds. 46 seconds left to go. Your score, Mason County 56, Harrison County 54. You're listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCYN Sports. All righty, barn burner time here on the Hilltop. Overtime time on the Hilltop. And right now the Mason County Royals lead 56-54 with 46 seconds left on the clock. Harrison County with the basketball. We've had 7 ties and 4 lead changes in this game. Harrison County has stayed close most of the way, but have not led since before halftime. Kendall from the hash mark in front of his home court or home area will inbounds the ball to Tayshawn Custer. Tayshawn to JD at the top of the key. That's Kendall. Kendall finds Sword. Sword drives to the block, to the glass. Good! And we're tied on Sword's drive to the basket. 56-56. Now let's see what our opponents have in mind as we go under 30 seconds to play. Over on the far sideline, Mitchell. Mitchell's had a couple of big baskets in this overtime period. Just dribbling between his legs. 12 seconds left. Still at the far sideline with 10. He'll make his move. 9 seconds, 8 seconds. From the elbow, jump shot is good. Oh my gosh. A 3-pointer by Nate Mitchell. Caden Custer, half corner at the buzzer. No. And the Mason County Royals have survived a great challenge by the Thoroughbreds and win by a final score of 59-56 on the dagger 3-pointer by Nate Mitchell in the closing seconds of the overtime period. Tough game. Well, we said at the beginning, Mason was about a 2-point favorite. They win by 3, so the odds were pretty close. Harrison drops to 9-8 on the year, while Mason County improves now to an impressive 12-3 in their 4th overtime game of the season. We invite you to stay tuned now for our post-game show, brought to you by Dustin Rose out of Farm Bureau. We'll go over all the scoring and stats from this game, as well as have a chat with Coach Brooks, and also name our Judy Construction Company Player of the Game. All of that coming up after this timeout. But once again, from here on the Hilltop, your final score in overtime: Mason County 59, Harrison County 56. You've been listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCYN Sports. County fights hard, but in the end loses by a final score of 59-56 in overtime to a very good Mason County Royal team who made some big shots down towards the end, as we did. Made some big defensive plays down towards the end, as we did. I mean, this couldn't have been any closer game than what it was. It's just a shame that somebody had to lose in a game which I mentioned earlier really had a tournament atmosphere about it. But give Nate Mitchell credit. Man, a dagger from the right wing for a three-pointer. I mean, he stepped out to put that ball in the hole with about 8 seconds left. Harrison County had a small bit of a chance, but Mason County just basically got in the way defensively, and the half-court shot by Caden Custer was off the mark as the buzzer sounded. Bread's now 9-8, as we said, while Mason County improves to 12-3. But also remember this: we were playing without Clay Carpenter, one of our major contributors. So if we play these guys again, hopefully we'll be at full strength. Take a look at the scoring. First for the Royals, they place a couple of players in double figures, led by Terrell Henry's 14. 13 points for Philip Beerley in the game tonight. Also scoring for the Royals, Nate Mitchell had 20. I should have included him first. So 20 points for Nate Mitchell. 7 points for Anwar Perry before he fouled out with 3.5 minutes left to go in the regulation. 3 points for Isaac Marshall, and a couple of points as well for Julius Booker. For Harrison County, leading the way of 3 players in double figures was Caden Custer's 19 points. Of those 15 came after halftime, and more specifically, 11 came in that fourth quarter when he almost single-handedly kept us in the ball game. 15 points for Tayshawn Custer. That's a new career high for him. He had 13 points on a couple of different occasions against Powell County, and then, of course, the Nicholas County game on Saturday as well. Also scoring for the Thoroughbreds, 10 points for J.D. Sword. 4 points each for both Blaine Biddle and J.D. Kendall, and a couple of points as well for Braylon Hinton as well as Garrett Wilson. Also playing but not scoring in the game for Harrison were Ian Boland and Will Furnish. And I should mention that the only players who played but did not score for Mason County were Mason Butler and Evan Schumacher. That's the way the individual numbers look. We'll come back and have Mike take a look at the team stats following this timeout. But once again, from here on the Hilltop in overtime, Mason County defeats Harrison County 59-56. You've been listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCYN Sports. All righty, back here at the Hilltop, joined now by Coach Terrence Brooks. And, Coach, it was an exciting game, a tournament atmosphere. It just turned out the wrong way.
Yeah, our kids, I had to take my hats off to our kids. We came out and we fought. We played hard. We had a good practice yesterday. They were locked in with the scouting report. We took away a couple of things that they were trying to do offensively. And, we got some big defensive rebounds. We got some big stops. Got defensive rebounds. We came out the third quarter and tried to go put a new little wrinkle in one of the sets we ran and had 3 straight turnovers. But, our kids never quit. They continue to get out and guard defensively. And, you hate to see a game go down like that, but our kids are really upset about that game. But at the same time, they know, we've been telling them all year long, they know we can play with anybody in the 10th region.
And the fact of the matter is, playing without Clay Carpenter, a kid that probably is logging 24 to 25 minutes a game, it takes one of your bullets out of your holster.
Yeah, it hurt, but, Braylon Hinton came in early in the game and gave us quality minutes. And,
sure did.
And, Tayshawn and Caden were able to play the 1 and 2 and switch a couple times. And they logged a lot of minutes, but those kids have big hearts, and they fought all night long. They had a task defensively, and they stepped up offensively, but they had a bigger task guarding on the defensive end. So, we miss Clay, and hopefully, we'll get him back, maybe in this week. But it gives these other kids an opportunity to get some quality minutes and get a little responsibility put on them. So when we get in postseason play, we're ready.
A big key to this ball game for Harrison County to stay close was we controlled the tempo and didn't let Mason County turn this thing into a track meet.
Yeah, that was one of the things we talked about. You know, when we shoot and score or miss, we've got to get back in transition, and we did a good job of that, staying in front of people and taking away that initial sideline pass that they do on their fast break. But again, you know, you just got to take your hats off to our kids. I thought we fought. We established Blaine early in the game,
Yes.
and he went to work. And I thought he got tired down the stretch. Offensively, he probably didn't work as hard offensively as he did the second half or the first half, but defensively he was consistent all night long.
Yes.
He was contesting shots. When Will went in there, he moved his feet well and contested shots. And we, you know, their height, with their hands up, their height, making them shoot over, we made them adjust some shots and got us some defensive stops.
Right. And the fact of the matter is, the most impressive thing for me about Blaine is he played several minutes with 4 fouls.
Yeah, Blaine's a smart kid. You know, he's very smart. You know, and the biggest thing right now is we're working with him and Will on moving and attacking the ball. And, if the ball gets by one of our perimeter players, go and attack it, make them shoot overs or take that charge. And you saw tonight he tried to take a couple of charges. He got called for blocks, but he's willing to do the little things, and that's going to win ball games for us down the stretch.
And as we mentioned many times before, it's the little things that win ball games. You know, taking care of the basketball, getting those defensive rebounds, not letting the other team take control of the tempo. And we checked all those boxes tonight. It's just that they got the last shot off and made it.
Well, you know, and the kid, Mitchell, he made a heck of a shot.
Sure did.
Tayshawn played. He played defense exactly like he was supposed to. He stayed on his left hip, forced him right, made him pull up. He got a hand up, contested. He jumped over him and shot the ball in the basket. So you have to take your hat off to him hitting the big shot. But at the same time, like I said, I'm proud of our kids. We fought. I think our kids really believe now what we've been saying all along. Right. And you know, we want to finish the season, these next 2 games, finish the right way. And, you know, we've got 2 weeks before district tournament play and get ourselves healthy and prepare for district tournament.
And the good thing is we have got 2 teams that are going to really give us a struggle in both Bishop Brossart, mainly because we play up there, but Bryan Station's a good team as well. And they'll give us a look of the kind of teams that will be playing at the regional tournament should we get that far.
Right. You know, Bishop Brossart is well coached. They're fundamentally sound, and they're going to play good defense. And, you know, I told our kids in the locker room, if we play defense against anybody else that we play this year, the way we played tonight, we're going to be hard to beat.
Right.
Our kids, like I said, our kids were locked in on the defensive end. And you know, defense, we turned them over. We got some easy opportunities, baskets off of our defense. And so, you know, again, you got to take your hat off to Mason. You know, they ran their set. You know, Mitchell got the ball. He shot the ball in the basket, and that's what good players do.
Right. I thought that for the second consecutive game that Tayshawn just had a super game.
He did. I mean, he showed up. Like I said, he was locked in yesterday at practice. He showed up today, and I knew just when he walked by me during the JV game, he had a bounce about him, and I knew he was ready to go. And you know, again, that's a kid that hadn't played basketball in 2.5 years. You know, but he's locked in. He's focused. He could be, you know, saying, well, I'm trying to get a football scholarship. I really don't care. That kid cares just as much as these other kids do. So he's got a big heart. He's a small kid, but he's got a big heart.
All right. Before I let you go, I just got to mention about Caden. I mean, there in the fourth quarter, scored 11 points and really kept us in the ball game.
Yeah, Caden can do a lot of things. Early in the game, I thought he was forcing some things, and he was fighting their pressure, and that's one thing that we're trying to get him through. Again, you know, I've talked to you about it. You know, in middle school, it's one thing that you're bigger than everybody. In high school, you know, he's bigger than some of the kids that guard him, but he may not be as strong, or some of the kids are doing a lot of riding him, and when he gets to fighting that pressure, you know, then that second defender, they run that second defender at him. Right. So he makes a lot of things happen. Even if he's got 2 or 3 people draped on him, he's still capable of making a lot of things happen. We've got to give him some help. And like I said, Tayshawn has stepped up and taking control of handling the ball and letting him play a little off guard.
Right.
Because I think from the free throw line down, Caden's a tough guard. He's tough to guard.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of teams double him, you know, top of the key to the elbows. He gets doubled up a lot of times. So we're going to keep working. We're going to keep our nose to the grind, and we'll be ready come district tournament time.
All right, Coach, appreciate you coming over, and we'll talk to you Thursday night up at Brossart.
Thanks for having me.
Head Thoroughbred basketball coach Terrence Brooks following the Thoroughbreds 59-56 loss at the hands of the Mason County Royals here on the Hilltop in overtime. We'll take our final break, come back, and have Mike take a look at the stats as well as name our Judy Construction Company player of the game. Coming up after this timeout, you've been listening to Thoroughbred Basketball on WCYN Sports.
Dealing with the real world wasn't easy, even before the whole global pandemic thing. Trying to pay the bills, worrying about family, or just trying to figure out what you want to be. The good news? Maysville Community and Technical College is open and ready, with on-campus and online programs that can lead to essential careers in IT, healthcare, and more, all at less than half the cost of a four-year university. So never put your dreams on hold, and never underestimate you.
Alrighty, back here at the Hilltop, we've already gone over the individual numbers. How do the team stats look there, Mike?
Team stats are really, as you would expect, really even, except for two spots. 45 shot. Mason County shot the ball 45 times. We shot it 46 times. They made 38% of their shots, 17 out of 45 for 38%. We made 24 out of 46 for 52. So we made 7 more field goals than they did. They made 4 out of 14 threes. The last one, of course, being the biggest one. 28.5%. We were 1 out of 10 for 10%. So we got outscored by 9 points from the three-point line, but we already outscored them by 14 from the 2 points, so we're still up. Where we lost the game was they shot 25 foul shots and made 21 of them for 84%. We shot 11 foul shots, made 7 for 64%. So that means 64% should win you a ball game.
Yeah, that's right on our average of the season.
84% is going to win everybody, all the games. The biggest was glaring, other than the free throws, a glaring problem we had tonight, 21 turnovers.
Oh, gosh, I didn't realize that.
Versus 12 for them. We made 13 turnovers the second half. And a lot of that was trying to force stuff.
Yeah.
And we didn't do it. Rebounding, there wasn't many, both teams shot well. A lot of balls were knocked out of bounds on rebounds and stuff, so nobody gets that. They only had 18 rebounds, 15 defensive, 3 offensive. We had 23 rebounds, 18 defensive and 5 offensive. So not very many offensive rebounds for either team, and only 23 for us, but we won the rebound battle by 5.
Right.
But like I said, so many rebounds were rebounded, went out of bounds or did something that nobody got credit for. So we played well. We just didn't quite get the job done at the end.
Yeah.
And like Coach Brooks said, that kid made a heck of a shot.
Oh, yeah.
Tayshawn was his hand right in his face.
Yeah. I mean, you got to give kid credit. I mean, he was only making 24% from threes on the year, but when it counted, and just a junior, his first year starting at the point guard, you got to give him a lot of credit.
Was that his second 3 of the game?
That was his second. He made a big one in the fourth quarter as well.
He's the one that came down here and just unconsciously shot that one from the wing.
Just caught it and threw it up all the same motion.
Just came down, and so he was looking for that shot.
Yes.
You had to give him all kind of credit. He was planned to shoot that shot the way he shot it, and Tayshawn did everything he could. But at the end of the night, Tayshawn's 5'8", isn't he, or 5 something?
Well, they list him at 5'10", but
Yeah, he's 5'8", maybe. And this kid jumped over him, and that's why Tayshawn started his hands in his face, but when he jumped, his hand was on his chest.
Right.
But like he said, Tayshawn was there where he ought to been, did everything he could do. Just it went in.
Right. I mean, we're getting closer.
Yeah.
I mean, we've gone from at the first part of the year not knowing how to play at all in close games. and then we kind of got a little bit better, but then we kind of took a little dip and started trying to play not to lose for a little bit. But then we had some bright spots like the Robertson County game, and then it's been an ebb and flow as far as the confidence of this team. But we're right at the edge of crossing that threshold to being a team to be contended with come tournament time.
Well, we certainly didn't play not to lose tonight.
No.
And that's encouraging because when you lose a game and you think of so many ways that you could have done better, even with 21 turnovers, a lot of them weren't turnovers that you want. I mean, the couple, except in the start of the third quarter.
Yeah,
we made those four turnovers there. We just, and like Coach Brooks apparently put something in different at halftime, and they tried to do some stuff. And when you lose in overtime, 4 turnovers in a row in the third quarter.
It's huge.
Yep.
It's huge. I mean, it took us from being down by just 1 at the half to being down by 9. Just in the flash of an eye.
And we have to battle to score a lot of times.
Yes.
And particularly not when we're 1 out of 10 from the 3-point line. So we have to battle to score, and getting behind 9 points and having to battle like Bulldogs to get back into the game, it's hard to do against a good team.
It is, but to give our guys credit because they never gave up and kept on fighting, and we'll get there. We're this close, and if you could see my fingers, I'm about a half an inch apart. We're this close, and we got 2 more games to try to prove it out against Brossart and Bryan Station before we take the 2 weeks to practice getting ready for district. So both those games will be good tests as well. As far as our Judy Construction Company player of the game, I think we're going to give it to 2 players, the Custards, Caden Custer and Tayshawn Custer. Caden Custer, 19 points, 6 rebounds, and an assist. Tayshawn Custer, 15 points and 5 rebounds, and also had an assist as well. So congratulations, both Caden Custer and Tayshawn Custer, our co-Judy Construction Company players of the game. As we mentioned, our next broadcast will be on Thursday night when we head up to Alexandria to take on the Mustangs of Bishop Brossart, who are, for them, kind of struggling this year at just 6-7. They're not used to having a losing record at all, but in between graduations and COVID, just have not been able to put anything together, but still a quality team. They're well coached, and it's always tough to play up there. We'll be on the air with the pregame show at around 7:15 of that scheduled 7:30 start. Want to thank Ryan Annis for streaming live here so that you all at home can both watch the game and listen to the game as well. Want to thank Mike Aldridge for all his help as far as stats and color are concerned. Also want to thank our engineer back at the station, Mr. A.J. Heisel, who always does a great job. And as always, want to thank all of our sponsors, because without their help, we would not be able to get Harrison County High School basketball on the air. So from the hilltop, your final score for the final time in overtime. Mason County 59, Harrison County 56. Good evening, everyone.